So आज हमारा जो मेहमान है और guest today is Shalini Khanna ji of NAB Center for Women, दिल्ली में जो है of NAB India. A lot of times we've initially I'd introduced her as very quick. Correct me to say that she's still not yet reached the stage of doctor, but we are concerned, the work she's done working with visually impaired women in terms of their rehabilitation, in terms of their training and equipping them for employment and placing them. I think she's done a phenomenal job, and it's a pleasure and privilege, Shalini, to have you on this episode. And
thank you so much.
तो शालिनी, पहले आपसे पूछना चाहे, I'd like to ask you, like, how did you get interested in this space in the first place?
Well, I'm a big follower of karma, and maybe karma brought me here. But I must say that when I stepped into NAB Archipulam after doing my post-graduation in HR, I was just looking for some voluntary work for some time, and I was already a professional in market research, a freelancer. So the first time when I entered there, and the independence of blind children, when I saw that, the kind of panache they were moving around with and in their communication. And to be very precise, if you all know Madhubala Sharma, she was the first girl I saw walk down to the manager's office, and she was such a cheerful, happy girl at that time in her 10th or 11th class. And she asked the manager, I have a phone call I heard in English. And he said, yes, just it's on the table. And her eyes did not show her blind. And when she came and groped for the phone, I understood, okay, she cannot see. And she started talking in meticulous English. And apart from that, the confidence that she had in handling some kind of funny conversation going on, I was so into it from there. I felt they deserve, a lot of exposure. It's not me who went to help them. I think I went to rediscover myself, and there was no looking back. From there, I started volunteering my time.
Madhubala Sharma is still a very cheerful person, I know.
Totally.
Right.
God bless her.
So she's still very, very hasmukh and cheerful and great company. So Shalini, you have a very innovative program which all of us are very keen to hear about, this cancer detection program. So maybe before we get into the actual program, can you tell us a little bit about the history of this cancer detection? I know there was a Dr. Frank Hoffman in Germany who is credited to have started this. But would you like to tell us the story behind this and how it came to India?
Yes, just a sec. I think I've opened two devices.
Yeah, you're on echo.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
But we can't see you. We can see you now.
You can see me now. Right. So the Center for Blind Women, I don't know, maybe everybody would know, is a unit of NAB India. And it basically caters to vocational trainings of blind women in this country. Well, that's another story how the center started in 2018. But our main focus is to bring new vocations for the blind people in this country. So Dr. Frank Hoffman, a German gynecologist in Dusseldorf in Germany, he has brought out this very, very special program. And before I open the program to everyone, it's actually the perfect day to talk about it, because in the morning in Times of India today, Tata has come up with a research result saying breast examination, clinical breast examination has been proven to be as good as mammography,
right?
Even in our country.
Right.
So that puts our blind women onto a very, very comfortable and higher pedestal now
Yeah.
for the future to come in. And I think this is just the right day to be talking about DH.
Right.
So Dr. Frank Hoffman, one day he used to get a lot of women, of course, to get their breasts examined with a mammography.
Yeah.
And mammography in most countries starts only at about 45 or 50, if not 45. So if a woman is younger than that, say you are 35 and you want to go get your breasts examined regularly, maybe you have a family history or something of breast cancer, you can't just go and get your mammography done. You have to be prescribed by a doctor if you have some kind of risk, you have some kind of a lump or whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of younger generation, and when a lot of younger generations started getting breast cancer, this was about 15 years back. So a lot of young women started coming to Dr. Frank to ask, what do I do? Like, mammography is totally covered by insurance. And how do I get myself tested? And that question, I think, stormed him in his mind for many days. And he says, one day I was standing in my bath and I was thinking, why can't women do breast examination most of the time? We keep telling them. And he said, I started doing my own self checkup on my body. And inadvertently, my eyes got closed. Because if I have to focus on something when I'm touching and I have to identify something, I have to close my eyes to kind of focus more.
Yeah.
And that's when the thought struck him that why not go to blind women and train them to find out if there is something beneath the surface of the skin.
Yeah.
And so he approached the first blind school in Germany and he asked them to train some girls, and they did that. And the results were amazing. The girls could find out 0.5 centimeter of abrasions in the breast. 0.5 centimeter is not something that a sighted person will be easy to find out. And because their fingers are so used to reading Braille and those very minute dots,
Yeah.
it becomes sensitive. This heightened sensitivity of their fingers were able to figure out.
Yeah.
So I guess India's number had to come. We have the most number of breast cancer deaths in this world, and we have the most number of blind women in this world. So we were kind of a very easy thought in Frank's mind after some years to take the program to. And they came through some doctors to us, another organization, Disha Foundation.
Yeah.
They came through there was a doctor there who was a researcher on breast cancer. And when I think they approached you also, they approached Ketan also in the country, where they can bring it for blind women. And then the fingers pointed out to us. And that's when we started the program in India. We had to get our trainers trained in Germany. So I went with my trainers to Germany.
How many of you?
4.
4 of you, okay.
And we got trained in raising that infrastructure and starting the trainings and how to train them and how to place them and how to start awareness in India about the program. So 2017 is when we had gone. I think in 2018 we started the
Yep.
program.
So how long does this training actually last? And what is the kind of background the candidates need to have to be trained effectively?
Initially, we felt that, the whole program was being drafted in English.
Yeah.
They had kind of translated the program from German to English.
Yeah.
So we had to take women who were good in that kind of communication.
Yeah.
But slowly we started feeling that translating it into our own language would rather play a much bigger role because we have more number of Hindi-speaking masses.
Yeah.
There is a noise from somewhere.
Yeah. Could I request everybody to kind of mute their microphones, please? Yeah, I think it's gone.
So If you want, I can speak in Hindi and English both.
Yeah,
if
do
you
that.
feel
हाँ,
like-
आप दोनों में बात कर सकते हैं.
क्योंकि और भी लिसनर्स होंगे और लड़कियां भी इंटरेस्टेड
जरूर,
होंगी.
जरूर.
तो फिर
जरूर.
हमने हमारी ट्रेनर्स ने उन्हें पहले हिंदी से इंग्लिश में कम्युनिकेशन सिखाने का भी काम करना शुरू किया. तो
जी.
वो टाइम थोड़ा सा लंबा लग जाता है. तो 1-2 महीने का एक प्री ट्रेनिंग किसी किसी को जरूरत पड़ती है. Otherwise, the program takes about 6 months to train the girls into total medical terminology and the medical way of examining and knowing different kinds of cancer and their sizes and their shapes and the amazing ways of figuring out lumps below very fat yoga mats. They're trained to find out from their fingers the lumps below yoga mats.
Yeah.
And then they are supposed to tell you how big is it exactly and how many centimeters. And so they're trained in a very extensive kind of a training. And then practical comes. And an internship of 3 months is mandatory. So 6 months of training plus 3 months of internship makes the whole program about 9 months.
So जब ये इंटर्नशिप, ये सवाल से पहले मैं पूछना चाहूँगा कि जब लड़कियां आपके पास ये ट्रेनिंग के लिए आते हैं तो उनका बेसिक शिक्षा लेवल क्या होना जरूरी है?
तो ग्रेजुएट भी ढूंढ रहे होते हैं, पर हमें 12th के साथ भी लगता है ये चल जाता है कॉम्बिनेशन, क्योंकि मुझे उसमें IQ लेवल चाहिए मेनली.
जी, जी.
और IQ लेवल तो एक्चुअली अनपढ़ में भी मिल जाता है.
राइट.
ऐसी बात नहीं है. एक्चुअली हमारे पास कुछ 8th से ड्रॉप आउट लड़कियां हैं जो लेट ब्लाइंड हैं और हमें लगता है DH के लिए बहुत अच्छी हैं अगर उनकी कम्युनिकेशन जो है वो अच्छी है, चाहे वो हिंदी चाहे वो अंग्रेजी, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली पेशेंट के साथ बात करना है रोज.
सो ये बायोलॉजी या बॉटनी या जूलॉजी का बैकग्राउंड होना जरूरी नहीं है?
हो नहीं सकता इंडिया में, क्योंकि ज्यादातर ब्लाइंड बच्चों को मिलता नहीं है साइंसेस पढ़ने को 8th के बाद. ढूंढते हैं हम, जर्मनी में वो लोग ढूंढते थे कि उनको थोड़ा सा बेसिक बायोलॉजी आना चाहिए, लेकिन हम इसीलिए मैंने कहा IQ ढूंढते हैं हम. IQ चेक करते हैं शुरू में, उसका कैपेसिटी चेक करते हैं कि वो कितना सीख सकती है. तो एक असेसमेंट होता है 5 दिन का, सिर्फ असेसमेंट 5 दिन का होता है, जिसमें हम उसकी मैनुअल स्किल्स चेक करते हैं, जिसमें हम उसका सेंसिटिविटी ऑफ फिंगर्स चेक करते हैं, उसका कम्युनिकेशन सेंस चेक करते हैं, कैपेसिटी टू लर्न चेक करते हैं, बिकॉज बहुत मेडिकल टर्मिनोलॉजी याद करना है.
Right.
और कुछ एक फीचर्स हैं ऐसे प्रैक्टिकल में भी या समझते हैं कि कॉन्फिडेंस विद द बॉडी कितना है, एंड देन उसको हम ट्रेनिंग पे लेते हैं. तो 12th is also fine for us.
So you talked about internship. Now, in a country like India, which is rather traditional and orthodox, and this is quite an innovation. What were the kind of challenges you faced to actually get willing clinics or hospitals to have these candidates as interns? And how many did you start with in the first round?
I wish I could talk about the challenges in a past tense. The challenges are still there. Because the training is very costly.
Okay.
First of all, training is very costly. So आपको स्पॉन्सरशिप ही बड़ी लंबी बड़ी मेजर ढूंढनी पड़ती है पर स्टूडेंट, बिकॉज हमारे देश में पॉवर्टी बड़ा इंटरलिंक्ड आता है डिसेबिलिटी के साथ.
राइट.
और इंटर्नशिप के वक्त में हाँ शुरुआती बैच में बहुत दिक्कत आई थी, जहां हमको कन्विंस करना पड़ रहा था डॉक्टर को कि ये लड़की कैसे आपको हेल्प करेगी, आप क्यों उसको अपने इतने बिजी क्लिनिक में जगह देंगे. और थैंकफुली डॉक्टर कंचन कौर को मैं जर्मनी एक बार ले गई थी दिखाने के लिए पूरे प्रोग्राम को. डॉक्टर कंचन कौर डायरेक्टर हैं ब्रेस्ट कैंसर यूनिट की मेदांता की.
राइट.
और उन्होंने देखा था कि कैसे इतनी अडेप्ट है वो लड़की, ब्लाइंड लड़की जो चेक कर रही है. और उन्होंने ये समझ लिया था कि ये काम जो डॉक्टर्स के पास टाइम नहीं होता करने का, जो उन्हें करना चाहिए. एक्चुअली क्लिनिकल ब्रेस्ट एग्जामिनेशन हर गायनेक को देना होता है, लेकिन उनके पास वक्त नहीं होता है. तो वो 5 मिनट में आपको ऊपरी चेकअप करके भेज देते हैं, जबकि ब्लाइंड लड़की कम से कम 40 मिनट्स लेती है। पूरा पेशेंट हिस्ट्री
Right.
लेगी, बहुत पेशेंट से बात करेगी
Right.
आपसे, आपकी पूरी एंजाइटीज को नीचे करेगी और फिर वो चेकअप शुरू करेगी. So Kanchan had understood that this is definitely useful, and the first internships came from Kanchan, and she took 4 or 5 of our girls. We had trained about 6 or 7 of them in the first batch, and then after Kanchan did that, we also found out another doctor from Fortis, and he was very interested because everybody was kind of looking for something along with mammography, because mammography was not an answer to breast cancer prevention in India. And mammography की वजह से, उस मशीन की अनफ्रेंडलीनेस की वजह से बहुत सारे लेट डिटेक्शंस आते हैं अभी भी इंडिया में, और डेथ लेट डिटेक्शन की वजह से होती है. तो उन्हें लगा ये एक अर्ली डिटेक्शन का बहुत अच्छा रास्ता है. किसी मशीन के नीचे नहीं आना है, कोई रेडिएशन का खतरा नहीं है, आपको सिर्फ एक ब्लाइंड लड़की के फिंगर्स के नीचे आना है, जिसके साथ आपकी प्राइवेसी एकदम इंटैक्ट है. ये जो आपका एक इनिशियल इतनी इनहिबिशन होती है, to take off your clothes and come under the hands of somebody, especially in a country where a woman's privacy is something very, very different than other countries. Our whole comfort with our bodies is not too much, So they saw a sea change. जब शुरुआत में internship पे लिया तो उन्हें लगा था लोग अनकंफर्टेबल होंगे, तो उन्होंने मुझे बोला शालिनी मैं ट्रायल करूंगी, मैं पहले लोगों से पूछूंगी. तो जब उन्होंने ट्रायल किया और लड़कियों को लगाया इंटर्नशिप पे, तो खुद ही आके मुझे बोली मैंने 2 लिए, मुझे 4 दे दो. मेरे तो लोग बहुत खुश हैं. बहुत सारे लोग अपनी फैमिली मेंबर्स को लेके आने लगे कि यहाँ एक ब्लाइंड लड़की है, उससे कोई नुकसान नहीं है और वो तरो चेकअप देगी तुमको 40 मिनट्स. So that was an initial great success. And then when Dr. Mandeep of Fortis came along, and then CK Birla, where we ran a whole campaign and a whole research was done in India over breast cancer. And the best part, Tata, when we went to Tata to just take interns, the director of Tata, the TMH in Mumbai, which is a very famous hospital in the world and not just India.
For cancer, yes.
Yes, they said ki, when he understood, he said, oh, this is clinical breast examination, huh? Right. And this research result, which Tata has come with today, they were undergoing that research, for some years. So when we went, the research was on. कि उन्होंने अपने फील्ड वर्कर्स को ट्रेन किया था हर कम्युनिटी में जाके ब्रेस्ट चेक करने के लिए हाथों से, बिकॉज दैट इज कॉल्ड क्लिनिकल ब्रेस्ट एग्जामिनेशन. और जब हमने उन्हें कहा कि ब्लाइंड लड़की है, उसकी ऑलरेडी सेंसिटिविटी है और उसको सिखाया गया है, ही वाज वेरी हैप्पी. He took immediately the girls into the internship, and during internship they did their own research.
Right.
Unke workers versus our girls, and उन्होंने जो हमें presentation दी, we were shocked with it that they came up कि हमारे doctors ने इतने इतने lumps miss किए हैं और आपकी लड़कियों ने वो भी पकड़े. So it was beautiful for us to hear that the blind girls were doing magic in their early detection. And they were giving you the earliest detection possible. So, and today the results have come, and we're very happy that they are saying clinical breast examination is as good as mammography. So we are very, hopeful that they will start getting jobs, because it's not very easy to convince doctors. You can go and convince one doctor, then second, then third. It's a very long process. When a place like Tata accepts this whole theory and concept, it will become easier for us now, is what we are hoping.
So आपका जो पहला कैंडिडेट का जो अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर कब मिला और ये कैसे हुआ? The first
आपके शो में मेरी पहली कैंडिडेट है, हाँ, साक्षी डालमिया.
Oh, she's okay. Yeah, I saw her name. Yeah. Where is she working?
So right now Sakshi is back at home because COVID brought everybody back to home, since छू के करने वाले काम तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं हो रहे थे.
बिल्कुल.
So we'll be calling her back soon now. Sakshi was the first one to start working, and she was in CK Birla in Gurgaon.
Right.
And Sakshi के साथ और भी लोग थे. We took a PG there and they started working at that time. And I'm sure they're the best people to tell you their experience with women, because women were very happy. Whenever they would come, they would bring along another 2 people the next day to show how a blind woman figured out whether she's healthy on her breast or not. It
Right.
was like an eye opener for people.
And what's the kind of salaries that these hospitals or clinics are willing to offer a blind person? And is this a kind of an ongoing employment, or this is kind of 3 months or 6 months? How does it work?
Ideally ongoing. So right now, Medanta is our next employer,
Yeah,
who is wanting to sign up 2, 3 girls now.
yeah,
And they are making our breast check a part of their executive health check.
right.
So all the corporates who have Medanta on their panel,
Yes,
every woman, whenever she comes for an executive health check, she will have to go through this particular health check for like an early detection of breast cancer.
right,
Um, so right now they get about 20K to start with, 18
yeah,
to 20,000, because
yeah,
that's what a nursing staff gets
right,
as a starter. And they join like nurses only, no? They join like an assistant staff to the doctor.
right.
It should be an ongoing affair. From here on, if this awareness goes on, what has come today, I think we'll get more positive results from all parts of the country and not just metros.
इस वक्त आपने दिल्ली और मुंबई की बात की। मुंबई में भी उम्मीद है कि कुछ लोग एम्प्लॉयड हुआ होगा।
हाँ
Did
बिल्कुल, मैंने बताया कि TMH में काम कर रही थी लड़कियां,
yeah,
तो TMH के साथ एक बातचीत चल रही है जहां बहुत ज्यादा लड़कियां वो अपॉइंट करना चाहते हैं बहुत सारे भागों में भारत के। तो उनकी बातचीत जो प्रोटोकॉल्स हैं वो थोड़ा लंबा वक्त लेते हैं, और कोविड बीच में आके इट वाज अ डील ब्रेकर लास्ट ईयर फॉर
right. I should imagine, yeah.
या इट इज गोइंग टू टेक अ लिटिल मोर टाइम। बैंगलोर में हमने प्रोग्राम को मल्टीप्लाई किया है, कश्मीर में किया है। तो
And वहाँ
बैंगलोर
पर have these trainings in Kashmir, for example, materialized in employment also?
the training started last year and then they had to come to a stop, and now they've again restarted now. But
Right.
Bangalore has already started talking to their hospitals there.
Yeah,
And we were in conversations with Kiran Majumdar Shaw's team
right,
at that time, because in our country, many people were looking for solutions for breast cancer detection.
right.
And they felt that this was something tenable, it was something sustainable. So Narayana and all, we are in talks with a lot of hospitals, and Bangalore team has already kind of secured internships, which will come from April.
Right. So at the end of the internship, how do you evaluate these candidates, meaning whether they are
So
fit?
the theory exam happens from Germany online, and the practical exam is also conducted by a trainer who's sitting there. But now we have a master trainer in India. In my team, we have a master trainer who can train trainers and who can take the practical exams. So the practical exams are taken after internship. Then a very, very thorough and strict exam is taken, and then both the marks of theory and practical are kind of, they have to be a combination good enough to take you to employment.
And to formalize this training and the internship as a kind of a diploma or as a degree, are you kind of planning to approach some organization or some entity to kind of
I'm
formalize?
planning to approach SCPWD, George. You will have to
Okay.
stand with me there.
Sure.
Because we were looking for more employments this year, and so we can go to SCPWD to kind of register it with NSDC as a vocational program.
Just for everybody's knowledge, SCPW is the Sector Council for Persons with Disability. Yeah. So that would kind of give a formal degree and or a formal diploma or a formal qualification for a blind woman to be able to work.
As of right now, Germany RCI has, not RCI, so Rehabilitation Council of Germany has certified the course.
Yeah.
And since they take the exam, so they give the certification right now. But yeah, the plan is that this year we go to our own authorities.
So would the MCI or somebody be kind of potential roadblock at any point of time, Medical Council of India?
That is why I said an Indian research had to be done, because otherwise nothing could get across. So the Indian research results will also now be published soon at the end of this month in a journal. Once they are published, then we expect the roads to open more. And Tata itself is a very big authority to open new avenues of medical science. Like they have come up with this research. So they are already sitting ready to start a pilot with MTEs. We call them medical tactile examiners.
Right.
So they are already sitting ready for implementing this program in multiple cities. Some kind of paperwork is going on. And if once it is launched there, we do hope that a lot of big time awareness is going to come in India about the tactile breast examination.
तो ये जो आप ट्रेनिंग देते हैं NAB हॉस्कास में, are you planning to start similar training centers in other parts of India?
As I said, we started in Bangalore last year and we started in Kashmir this year.
You set up your own training center, or you collaborate with somebody there?
Collaborated with our partners in Bangalore, Enable
India, okay.
In Kashmir, there's another organization, Help Organization.
Okay, Help Foundation, okay. Yeah. Okay.
See, there are a lot of glitches also.
Yeah.
As the program is very extensively academic in its nature.
Yes.
You have to find the right candidates also.
Correct.
And the right candidates have to be able to sit through the whole training. So we have to handhold our partner organizations. So as a trial, we have done it in 2 cities right now, and let's see the results. But we do plan to open it in as many parts of India as we can, because blind women are everywhere. And I would rather not call them all to Delhi or Bangalore. We would rather go there. We have to first train the trainers, which is another vigorous program.
Right.
Train the trainer program is 1 month. It's a 40-day training, which they have to come to Delhi and they have to train themselves in my institute. And then they go and set up the unit there. They have to buy some medical models and stuff. And very important thing, they have to find the funding, because as I said, the course is expensive and we are looking for funders or donors who could help us multiply the program pan-India. Initially, the program came with the help of Bayer Crops. But right now Bayer is not supporting, and we are kind of interacting with some donors if we could have a pan-India presence and the support. George?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, George, now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
There's a little network problem at your end.
There's a little lag, yes. There's a little lag, but we can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so what I wanted to understand was, आपने कहा कि because you have to get the infrastructure going and all that. But in terms of an ongoing expenditure, running expenditure, is it still very expensive, or
George, you might want to turn your video off and then continue.
Meaning, how does it go?
Yeah, now you will have to ask your question again, because I was not able to hear most of it. There was a lag and a tech.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll ask you the question again. You mentioned that the cost of running a program is quite expensive. I can understand that there probably is a very high setup cost, because you probably have equipment and infrastructure to put in place. But on an ongoing basis, is it still expensive, or
actually the one-time cost
there are elements which have to be kind of?
Actually, the one-time cost is not so much, George. One-time cost anybody can give you. The infrastructure is not so much. It's the ongoing cost which is quite a bit, because for women to be trained, you will have to have a hostel, unless they are all local. Then your cost comes down quite a bit. And you can't take too many students on one trainer, because it's a very hands-on practical training. So ideally 1 trainer to 3 women. So you have to have more trainers in the department. And that is a cost, the salaries, because you need especially either science trained women or special educators,
Right.
so, and committed ones. So the ongoing training is the main cost that you have to bear. The one-time cost is not so much. You are
So
over to you.
आपने 2017 में ये कार्यक्रम इनिशिएट हाँ, can you hear me?
आपका नेटवर्क अभी भी बहुत खराब है.
Now we can
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. तो 2017 में आपने ये कार्यक्रम शुरू किया. Did you have to do लोगों को लोग खुद आते हैं या आपको जाके प्रचार करना पड़ता है?
I think अभी तो हमें प्रचार करना पड़ता है, बिकॉज बहुत सारी ब्लाइंड वुमेन को इस प्रोग्राम के बारे में खास मालूम नहीं है. और ऑल्सो ये लंबा ट्रेनिंग है, 3-4 महीने का ट्रेनिंग नहीं है. इट इज अ 6 month + 3 month एक्सटेंसिव ट्रेनिंग. तो आई थिंक अभी एक फियर फैक्टर भी है.
जी.
पता नहीं मैं कर पाऊंगी कि नहीं, और ये करने के बाद मैं किस माहौल में काम करूंगी, क्योंकि अभी भी हमारे देश में वो गवर्नमेंट जॉब का एक जो अट्रैक्शन है वो काफी बना हुआ है. तो मेडिकल फील्ड में ब्लाइंड लोग काम कर पा रहे हैं, ये अवेयरनेस ही बहुत कम है अभी. आपके आईवे के माध्यम से आई होप वी कैन रीच आउट टू मोर पीपल to let them know that more blind women can come for this medical oriented training. And we are still, and the assessment, since during assessment of those 5 days many dropouts are there. We figure out कि ये training इनके बस का है या नहीं है. It's like a medical training. मतलब आप एक गायनेक से पूछेंगे ना हमारे देश में, तो वो ब्रेस्ट पे ट्रेंड नहीं होती, वो सिर्फ यूट्रस पे ट्रेंड होती है. और एक ब्लाइंड वुमन को हम ब्रेस्ट पे इतना ट्रेन करते हैं कि वो 40 मिनट आपकी ब्रेस्ट में से छोटा सा लंप ढूंढ के निकालती है और फिर डॉक्टर को भी बता सकती है कि इस लंप की नेचर क्या थी. सो जस्ट इमेजिन के उस इट्स लाइक अ मेडिकल ट्रेनिंग फॉर दैट गर्ल. सो नॉट एवरीबडी कैन बी एलिजिबल फॉर इट. So we are still the right candidates is a very important part to have. And we would like more candidates to apply so that we can give more people to the nation, and also more hospitals to open their doors. It's a very forked approach right now. Are you there, Javi? George?
So I guess right now to run an optimum program, how many candidates you need to?
He said to run an optimum program, how many candidates, ideal number of candidates would you require?
8. To start a batch, 7 to 8 girls in a batch is a good number. Is not in a month, the whole batch. The whole batch will go 6 to 9 months.
Yeah. So when the batch is going, this starts in January. When would it be? Because once these girls go into internship, you have scope for getting your
second batch. So we train 2 batches in a year. This year we have trained a batch from Nepal. So Nepal Medicity called us and told us that they want to start something like this, but they do not have those kind of trainers there. So the Nepal girls had come down to India, and during COVID they could not go back at the right time. So everybody knows that the whole year was such a bad block. The girls had to spend almost a year here, and they've just gone back, and we are ready for this next batch now. So we are inviting right now entries and applicants. So 2 batches in a year. 2 batches in a year in Delhi, 2 batches in a
Yeah,
year
you might
in
want to kind
Bangalore,
of
and
just
2
formally
batches in a year in
say.
Kashmir.
So if you want to make a formal announcement here, because this goes out on Facebook and it'll be up on YouTube also later. So you might want to also say that how does a person apply and what is it that they need to do? You might just quickly like to just state that.
So those who are internet connected, they can go to our website, nabcenterforwomen.org, and they can read about our programs there. Those who are not internet connected, उनके लिए बता देती हूँ कि आप 41656266 ये एक लैंडलाइन नंबर है, यहाँ कॉल कर सकते हैं एडमिशन्स के लिए, DH प्रोग्राम के लिए, और या फिर मैं मोबाइल नंबर भी एक देती हूँ, सोनल मैडम जो कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं इंडिया की, 9205850326 9205850326। आप इस नंबर पे फोन करके अपनी एडमिशन्स अप्लाई कर सकते हैं और फिर एक पर्टिकुलर डेट पे हम असेसमेंट सेटअप करते हैं एंड देन द ट्रेनिंग स्टार्ट।
Right. So NAB India, this Women's Center has been around for a few years now, meaning it's been around for, meaning I remember in the 1990s also it was around. So what are the other programs that you run which are employment related?
Actually, Center for Blind Women started in 2002.
Right.
In Oscars, and so it's been almost 19 years now that we have been there. Apart from the DH, which is the most recent program actually, we have Customer Care Executive Course, CCE program, which is in sync with NSDC, and because we were the pilot runners for SCPWD for the course. Then we have an Assistant Spa Therapist course, where you are placed either in corporates in their health centers or in major hospitality sector. And that has very good openings also. It's well paying too. And third is the packaging, which is for the totally uneducated girls, because there are a lot of blind girls in the country who are uneducated. So we run this program throughout the year. Packaging training is not very long. It is just about, 2 months.
Right.
So we keep taking girls all year through on this program, and the placements are also more frequent. They get placed in garment export houses, and almost 80% girls of the packaging department, they get placed. We take even boys in packaging in another center. We have another center in Lakshmi Nagar. So that's where the boys get trained in this vocation and they get placed. The assistant spa therapist happens here only in Hoskas. DH happens here. And now there's another course of bakery, bakery and cafe management. Our girls have come up to be amazing stars in bakery. They bake cakes and people order, they bake breads and they bake biscuits. And we keep having these events of Bake a Cake with Us, where the blind women teach sighted people how to bake a cake. So yeah, we are now going to open that program. We were piloting it still, but we are now open for more entries into the program, where the girls can open their own enterprises from their homes, especially the blind women who are married and who are more, homebound. And also, we have got opportunities where the corporates are opening their doors for blind women to come and open their cafeterias in their precincts. So I think it's a brilliant opportunity for women who think they can cook. Basic and bakery is actually no fire cooking. So the risk is minimum there. And it's just a game of timings and measurements, which we train you on. And you'll be good to go.
So कुछ आप रियल लाइफ उदाहरण बताएंगे जहां पर आपने ये
मेरे 2 बच्चे हैं, कमला और सबीना, जो पहला पायलट लेके गए IGT के प्रेसिंक्ट में। मैंने आपको बोला हम पायलट कर रहे थे अभी तक, तो IGT के प्रांगण में वो टाइम टू टाइम लगाते रहते हैं अपना कैंटीन और बहुत अच्छे सेल होता है। And they offer some things on the menu, uh, like other than baking also. They offer you sandwiches, and they offer you omelets, and they offer you Maggies, and they offer you momos, and they offer you idlis. So some kind of menu, and of course, breads and bakery. And they do very well there whenever they go. Apart from that, from the Hoskas cafe right now, it's called Blind Bake. We are getting orders almost every day. If you see my phone, there's a group which receives orders. So about 7 cakes every day, they get an order to be made, and they make and deliver, because for COVID, nobody was very open for people to walk in and, sit there and eat.
Right.
So this whole order system we started at that time. And we are very hopeful that once we showcase this skill to corporates, it is easy for them to kind of open their doors.
हमें आना पड़ेगा एक दिन अभी.
जरूर आइए, और बहुत सारे लोग आइए.
केक वे खाने का हमें शौक है.
You would love it. We have diabetic cakes. So our trainer of the bakery is a faculty from Neeta Mehta's institute.
Yeah.
And she's brilliant. And the best part is she herself is trained in the rehabilitation of visually impaired. So, she knows her skill very well, and the girls are brilliant.
And the spa, you mentioned about the spa, corporate, meaning training in assistance in the spa. So can you tell me a little more about that? Uske baare mein thoda.
So if you remember, George, and for others also, we had brought a program from Japan many years back.
Ji.
Where so in Japan, pain relieving therapies are earmarked as a job for the blind.
Right.
And it's a 300-year-old vocation, okay? It's
Right.
not like today or tomorrow. Same in China. And when you go abroad to, say, Malaysia or Sri Lanka, you get to see a lot of blind people giving you massages in the airports.
Yeah.
In India, only Mumbai.
Yeah.
If I know it right.
Yeah.
So Japanese people contacted us to take this training to India through NIVH at that time, when Anuradha was in NIVH.
Yeah.
And the trainer came here and stayed here for 3 years in India to train a lot of blind people on pain relieving therapies. And they're amazing, by the way. I mean, especially upper back, lower back, frozen shoulders, spasms, migraines.
Yeah.
Any neuroreflexological disorder, BP, sugar. And because China and Japan are famous for their oriental therapies to kind of cure people, so they teach this deep massage to blind people, who again use the sensitivity of the hand to look for the blockage of the nerve in any part of your body, and slowly can actually cure it, which actually is not curable otherwise. You will get a temporary relief with other ways and therapies, but with this, you actually get a good way of relief. And that therapy, we also, we took it to NIVH. NAB was the coordinator agency at that time, and we took it to Ahmedabad also. But in Delhi also, we have a clinic here called Talking Hands. And that's where you will get a therapist always to give you a massage, and we get clients. Even during COVID, we had the clients. And
so this was something run at NAB, or this is a kind of a private clinic space?
Also run at NAB Hoskas,
okay.
But we employ these therapists also. So PayU, for example, has taken these therapists in their corporate health centers in multiple locations, and so it's a program like, in Japan, I saw every corporate has these masseurs in their health centers. These are called therapists, and any employee who is tired now for sitting extensively for a number of hours starts feeling a lot of back pain. So just walk in, get about 15-20 minutes of massage, and then walks back into the work area. So it increases their productivity. PayU kind of agreed to us, and then PayU had these people over, and now they work there. And IGT is another place which is asking for it. Basically, wherever the lifestyle diseases have come a lot, due to long sitting hours and long durations of computer work. It is very handy. It is good in Gujarat as a home-based vocation also. In fact, in Ahmedabad and Gujarat, the masseurs do very good for themselves. In Dehradun, there is a therapist has opened his own clinic, 2-3 therapists, and they give therapies to people. Because of the great benefit of the therapy, people do come back. So that clinic we have within Hoskas, and we would love to open it at the airport whenever we get the opportunity, but we haven't got the opportunity yet.
What about, meaning, how do these girls kind of manage the finance? Because money management is pretty difficult with this currency recognition and all being challenges.
Oh, these days it's a matter of online payments, and we have Paytm has even talking machines.
Okay.
When you Paytm, the Paytm small instrument, it talks back, and it tells you how much money has been received. It's very easy. And we even have system of M-Swipe machines where whatever money the client has to pay you, she just immediately contacts my accounts person, who sends a link in 1 second to the client on the mobile by SMS, and they can pay.
So we were reading somewhere that you have placed almost 3,000 girls over the last few years. Obviously, these 3 programs that you mentioned just now, they are more recent programs. So over the years, what are the other kind of placements that you've done?
Packaging and CCE have placed a lot of people. Packaging has placed a lot of people in the past. And packaging training started when we started the center. I think 2003 or 4, we started packaging training. And since then, we have been placing people. And not only women, we have been placing a lot of guys also everywhere. And the placements also include a lot of self-enterprises. So our rural belt work, which started with helping them with opening little shops and opening their detergent work, still goes on. And a lot of people got trained in making detergents and started selling them on their own in the rural belts. So that was one big program that we run. And now with the handicrafts, also a lot of self-enterprises run. So we get orders from export houses, and we give it out to the people in the community, the disabled people, the blind people, and other disabilities also. And they fulfill these orders, and we become the bridge to train them in quick programs, like even a week long, 2-week long. And we train them in a particular skill to be able to produce that particular product, repeatedly, and they can work from home.
We are living in a time when, there is a lot of sexual exploitation that happens. Even you don't have to be disabled to be sexually exploited. So being blind, and when you're working in clinics, hospitals, or in a corporate setup, or even as an entrepreneur somewhere, does your training also kind of, first of all, is my hypothesis right, that they are vulnerable to sexual overtures and exploitation, number one? And if yes, then is there any kind of element in your training which prepares them to deal with the situation?
Definitely. And before I come to that, I had forgotten that we've placed a number of people in banks.
Okay.
I'd totally forgotten that on the base of computer training that we've been doing for years, a lot of women into banks and in teaching staff.
Right.
Yeah. Now coming to the sexual harassment bit, George, that's a very serious topic.
Yeah.
Right from the day one, when we opened the trainings, we were very aware that we are not living in a very socially safe country.
Yeah.
And more so for blind women who cannot see the risk coming from which direction also. So we got in touch with, at that time, Jagori, and we designed programs of self-protection, self-defense for blind women. Every girl trained in my center has to go through the self-defense training. Everybody is trained for self-defense.
Right.
And we, in fact, are motivating the corporates to include them in their safety drills because they feel scared otherwise. How are these girls going to manage? And we do these drills here also for example, natural calamities.
Right.
These days, even for earthquakes and for everything, corporates have to do drills. So the girls go through those drills also here, most batches, and they're trained to kind of protect themselves and take care of their protection to quite an extent. You speak to trainees in the center because we start sending them out alone during the training. Since if they have to work, they have to commute.
Yeah.
So we start sending them out to commute alone from the 3rd month or something. And they do come back with a lot of stories. Why
Yeah.
not? And we keep taking care of it in the self-defense program more and more. And they all have handy the information where they can complain and the kind of help they can seek at what point in time. That's the best you can do. That's the best even a sighted woman can do.
Yeah. Yeah. So we run this highway helpline, and over the years we've seen that it's only 6 to 7% of our callers happen to be women. There are very few women who actually call for information, call for help, and call for assistance, and so on. So an organization like yours, which is exclusively working for blind women, and meaning you probably, meaning it appears that women in India, when they are blind, families and the society and the community at large provide them limited opportunities to come out and seek opportunities for themselves. So, what has been your experience in this?
This is a whole session in itself. We can actually have a brainstorming on it separately. It's not easy.
Yeah,
When we listen to the stories of girls, whoever land up here,
yeah,
because there is a whole big bunch who does not have any way to land up here.
yeah,
Or from my experience of going to the communities or going to the rural India from where most number of blind women come anyway.
yeah,
They are isolated and confined in the homes, the 4 walls of homes, due to many factors. First factor is prestige of the family. Nobody wants them to go out
right,
and declare to the world I'm blind and I belong to this family. Because in our
right,
country, everything is related to karmas, and they feel even if my neighbor gets to know that I have a blind girl child, then it is a reflection of my sins somewhere. It still
yeah,
is
yeah,
there, okay? It still is there in the
right,
suburban and the rural sector.
right,
And they don't want to do that. Second is the safety.
yeah,
If you do a little research, you will understand that not many institutes in this country who admit blind women are residential.
yeah,
One, most of the institutes are for blind men. And two, if they take blind women, they do not have the residential facilities. Then it is very difficult. Understanding our social structures,
yeah,
I mean, who will send their daughter outside city to a place where there is no residence for her? And if
right,
she's blind, nobody even trusts that she can commute before learning it.
right,
I agree with them. So that is a huge distancing factor for them. And third part is the unawareness, which is the biggest part. Unawareness of parents to
yeah,
understand that blind people can have careers, they can have lives. See, especially when there is a girl child and she becomes blind, she goes on the totally last priority of the parents to bring to the fore and to bring to the world, to expose her to mainstream.
sure,
They would rather, they feel rather कि हम इसको घर में बिठा के एक लड़की को खिला लेंगे, it's all right. And किसी को नहीं बताना चाहते हैं. It's only when the parents are growing older and the girl grows above 18 or something, that's when they start kind of waking up to the feeling that after I'm gone, what is going to happen to her? And that's when they start looking for us, at least in the north of India.
right,
The stories that they come from are terrible. Even in this date today, if your girl child has gone blind and the school has given you resistance to continue her education, the parent doesn't know where to go.
right,
Not everybody knows how to browse internet till date. You know, I can maybe WhatsApp, but as a rural person, do I really know how to Google for a blind girl? Where would she go? And what are the opportunities? I really wonder.
Right.
How many institutes are online, you know, in these kind of areas? In the whole of UP, in the whole of huge UP, I mean, UP is so big.
Correct.
The whole of Eastern UP, there is one school which takes blind girls. And that also has now started inclusive practices, and you know, they've started charging also. I understand it must be their problem to run the institute, but one Jeevan Jyoti in Banaras would take blind girls. एक ईयर में कितनी लड़कियां पास आउट हो जाएंगी और कितनी सीट्स जनरेट हो जाएंगी? 10-15, यू नो, एक स्कूल की जहाँ 150 बच्चा पढ़ता है, 12वीं क्लास तक पढ़ेगा, पहली 12वीं क्लास में से निकल के कितने बच्चे निकल जाएंगे? 10, 12, 15। तो मतलब एक पूरे यूपी में सिर्फ 15 लड़कियों को सीट मिल सकती है एक स्कूल में
हर साल।
तो सोचिए फिर बाकी बच्चे कहाँ जाएंगे? और वहां भी यू नो एक टाइम है एडमिशन का, है ना? हर स्कूल का एक टाइम होता है एडमिशन का। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि मैं अक्टूबर में बच्चा लाऊं तो मेरा बच्चा एडमिट हो जाएगा।
बिल्कुल।
तो अगर मुझे अक्टूबर में पता लगा है, मैं बच्ची को लाऊं, वो बोलेंगे नेक्स्ट मार्च या अप्रैल में लाना। उस मार्च तक आते आते मेरे घर में 2 डेथ हो गई, मेरी क्रॉप ठीक नहीं हुई, मेरे पास पैसे ही नहीं है ट्रैवल करने के, तो मैं लेके ही नहीं गया बेटी को। और मैं मन में ये सोचता रहा कि वो भी तो पैसे लेंगे, मुझसे कुछ तो लेंगे। There is a total lack of awareness in this country about rehabilitation of blind people per se. And I'm not saying disabled because, you know, deaf और orthopedic की जो sustainability है और उनको जो opportunities हैं वो बहुत different है। वो उनको थोड़ी आसानी से मिल जाती हैं, मतलब इनके comparison में। लेकिन मैं गांव में जाके रहती थी बलिया में जब, तो मैं इतनी हैरान थी कि सर्व शिक्षा अभियान ने इतने ट्रेनर्स को ट्रेन किया है डिसेबल लोगों को पढ़ाने के लिए। मेंटली चैलेंज्ड के भी घर घर जाकर रिहैबिलिटेशन जो प्रोफेशनल है वो सिखा लेता है, और ऑर्थोपेडिक के लिए इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं और डेफ के लिए भी हैं, लेकिन ब्लाइंड को कोई नहीं सिखा रहा था। आई वाज सो ज़ैप्ड। तो आई आस्क्ड देम कि क्यों ऐसा है, तो दे सेड भी ब्लाइंड को सिखाने के लिए तो ब्रेल सीखना पड़ेगा ना पहले मुझे, तो मुझे नहीं आती तो मैं उसे कैसे सिखाऊं? हर एक को लगता है कि ब्रेल इज द ओनली वे अ ब्लाइंड कैन लर्न। यू नो, ये जो हम इतने गैजेट्स और इतनी टेक्नोलॉजी ले आए ब्लाइंड के लिए, ये कहाँ सबको ज्ञान है कि ऐसा हो सकता है? और ये हुआ एजुकेशन लेवल पे। और जो बच्चे वो समय लांग गए एजुकेशन का, ज्यादातर बच्चा वो है जो 16-17 साल का हो गया या 15 का हो गया, स्कूल का वक्त लांग गया। उसके लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्या है ब्लाइंड व्यक्ति के लिए किसी को नहीं मालूम। तो मुझे लगता है एक अवेयरनेस बड़े पैमाने पे डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे नहीं है अभी, उन ऑफिशियल्स को ही नहीं है। मैं उनके पास जाइए कि आपके पास एडिप स्कीम में तो कुछ गैजेट्स आए होंगे, वो क्यों नहीं आप ब्लाइंड लोगों को दे देते? तो वो बोलते हैं मैडम मेरे पास एक स्लेट है और एक छड़ी है, आप ले जाइए। अब एक ब्रेल स्लेट पे तो तभी आ सकता है ना बच्चा जब कोई उसे ब्रेल सिखाएगा, और एक छड़ी से वो अकेले कहीं नहीं
सिखाएंगे। बिल्कुल,
खासकर ब्लाइंड लड़की, कोई उसे घर से बाहर ही नहीं निकल,
वो भी ट्रेन करने के बिल्कुल।